Hello and welcome to
Absolute Game Off.
Nerd! I am JP and that's Rohan. I got it right this time. We are your non-geek, non-nerd hosts. And with us today, we have our first female card person ever on the channel. We have Graded Gamer. We have Amanda, Graded Gamer, with us tonight. And Rohan's going to give us a fabulous introduction for Amanda here. So
So I now have been back into cards. Obviously, I think it's been around a year now. And when I first got back into cards, I was talking to Manu of the 9.9 newsstand, and he's into cards, and I was like, "Who's on IG that's into cards that I need to follow?" And he was like, I don't know if there's any." He's like, "Oh, you got to follow one, and it's Graded Gamer." And so that's how I first started following Amanda here. And then since I've talked to her a few times, I'm glad to have her on and get to know her a little bit more. But Amanda, how are you doing today? Thanks for coming on.
I am good, thank you. Manu is incredibly kind.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys in the hobby that he's always just kind.
Yeah, he's a good
like
buddy.
He travels all different social circles within the hobby. And it's just because his personality is fantastic.
Yeah. And JP is right. I was thinking about that. We've now had a handful of female guests, but they've all been on the comic side. So you are our first on the card side.
Notice. I did scan. Yeah. I did scan to see, like, okay, let me see. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right on. So anyways, we always start with the same question, and it is, what is your origin story when it comes to this hobby? Take us however long ago it started. Was there a break? Did it keep going? Like, tell us the story there.
So I think I am in the minority in that my hobby story doesn't involve a break.
I would say that's the minority.
Yeah. So I started with comics really early. I had an uncle that was into comics, and so he would, get tired of stuff and give it to me to read. And so I grew up reading.
What was he giving you?
So he was giving me stuff like, everyone, when you're young, everyone likes the X-Men. So the X-Men were great. But he was also giving me like Teen Titans, like that George Perez run of Teen Titans, the Brother Blood. He gave me the Frank Miller Wolverine series, which at the time was like, "Ooh, this feels like really grown up. I'm reading this."
Yeah.
Which is funny because looking like now, I remember there was a time when I went to my local comic shop and they would not sell me The Dark Knight.
Oh, because it was too mature.
It was too mature. It was like under the glass at the counter. Couldn't have it.
Working that day.
Yeah.
I don't know like what they were worried about, but this, like, I'm pretty sure I'm older than you guys, so this was like right when that came out.
Okay.
To say I couldn't buy the Punisher one when I was collecting,
but that was via your mom, not via the store.
But I'm just saying, like, maybe she tried to tell the guy don't sell it to him because I would have bought it back then. Maybe someone said something to a guy that you couldn't buy the Dark Knight of all things. That cover was
your mom called ahead. It was like, don't sell Amanda the Dark Knight.
Right. But like that cover is so like just looking at it, I instantly wanted that. So I couldn't have that. But so sticking with it, like as soon as I was old enough in high school to get a job, I went and worked at the local comic shop. So I worked there for a while, and eventually it got to the point where, so this was 90.
Wait, was it the same comic shop that denied
you
the Dark Knight?
No, okay. I did end up working at that one, but I worked at this other one first.
Okay.
So this was like a really mom and pop. This was like, they were so mom and pop that I had to work for store credit only.
Oh.
So, which, bummer, right?
Yeah.
So I went so hard. This was 94. So I know everybody is in love with the 90s set. 94 Flair Ultra X-Men is my set.
Yeah.
Because I was working in that shop, was exchanging all my store credit for those packs. I remember desperately trying to, is it Gambit versus Bishop? There was one chase card. I think it was Gambit versus Bishop. I think it was the Greatest Battles insert set. It took me forever to get. I can remember to this day finally pulling that card.
That wasn't the blue set, was it?
No, that's 92 Jim Lee X-Men. This is
this is 94. So I worked there for 2 years. Then I went to go work at the one that wouldn't sell me the Dark Knight.
Were you like, remember me, biatch?
So this is good. I don't know, maybe you guys will get it. So one of the things as the new person in the shop, they had me do was every Sunday. So again, this was 94, 95. every Sunday we would get a fax, like a 12-page fax of every single card pack we were supposed to have in the shop. And so like 2 hours before open every Sunday, I had to take this packet and I had to go through every box of cards on the shelves and let them know how many packs we had left of each card set.
Wow.
So doing that, I know it was,
Was
this was
that
before
like,
Excel, this was before.
What would
was the
be
reason?
funny
Did they
is if
not
this.
own the box or something? Did they not own the box? Why did they have to know how many?
Well, I think partly was they had multiple stores, and I think partly it was also theft was an issue.
Yeah. Okay. Because like there's like dealers have lease floor space, and you have to have the cars aren't really theirs until they sell them or something like that. So I thought maybe they didn't. The cards came through Fleer, sort of a lease setup. Okay, that makes sense.
I would say it would be funny if that shop is still around today and they still have the fax coming in every Sunday. And
I'm trying to think of how long they lasted. They lasted for a while. But so that was my every Sunday was inventory, and just there's like because of that, I was looking at sets that I'd never like. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the FPG sets, like the Chris Achilleos, the Artist series. Jim Steranko has his own card set. Like Bernie Wrightson has his own. He has like 3 card sets. So just like these really random kind of smaller. I don't want to call them indie, but like just all kinds of different, like all the Olivias, all the girly cards, everything. Like so, like from the jump, I had exposure to like a lot of different sets. So it was amazing. So then I had to get a real job.
But that didn't pay you in store credit, you mean?
That did not pay me in store credit. So I got the real job, but one of the plus sides of being out here in Orange County is we have a ton of stores.
Yeah.
We have comic shops everywhere. We have I would call it a warehouse like convention that's every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I continually had access. It wasn't like, oh, my LCS stopped carrying cards, so I had to drop out, or there was always some place to buy. So I was just like continual all the way through now.
So Amanda, let me ask you real quick on these stores that are in the LA. Do you find that they carry both comics and cards at the shop? Because that's one thing I just is beyond me is like these are all products of the same thing, but I find them to be so separate. Like I go to Comic Cons, there's no cards.
Yeah.
I go to my comic shop, there's no cards. Like it's like, why are we not combining these things together?
Yeah, no, that's interesting because it used to be like I remember going to San Diego Comic-Con when you could just show up and buy your ticket at the door and walk in. It was not like it was. And that's when there were cards. There would be like a whole like a dealer would show up who was completely non-sports cards. But now like there's like last year I think there was one booth and it was the same guy that I buy from on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at the warehouse show.
Yeah. So
so they like in here, if I go to the shops, I don't really see cards, which is it's just so interesting to me though, because for me, and you probably see this in MCCW, but there are a lot of folks who are just cards. They're just they have no interest in the comics. They don't like they haven't read one. They're not looking to read one. It's just cards.
Yeah. And I mean, I would say the same applies in the reverse, right? Like most of my friends that are into comics have no interest in the cards. Like I find the few that are into both is quite uncommon.
See, I get that though. Like I get like I have a few littered around here right now, but I get like, okay, I read comics and cards are just like this extra thing that I don't really have to do. They're like a spinoff. But the cards come from
the comics.
Like, why do you care about Spider-Man if you don't know anything about Spider-Man? Like, it's always been really interesting to me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting for sure. Cause like, yeah, you're right. Like you could talk to some card and they're like, oh, I had no idea about who that is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the variant issue with the comics is similar to the card variant because there's so many cards that come out every year, new sets, and there's 10 of 10s, 1 of 10, whatever. It's hard to keep up with that if you're not in that world. Whereas, you and I collect Silver Age, Bronze Age. There's, some specific things we collect.
I mean, yeah, there is probably a function of like, we're all adults. We all have busy lives and we only have so much bandwidth for the hobby.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But like, I think you're definitely onto something in a sense of like, if you like Spider-Man, like you should know what AF-15 is. You should know, the kind of gist of Spider-Man's story. I would think at least.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's
you can
like,
get those cards that have the pictures on them, right? I mean, Spidey
Yeah.
Hits had that, but that's rare to get those ones. But there is that connection there. There are just so many to keep up with if you're not fully into cards. I think you
Yeah.
just you're not.
Yeah,
There's not very many vintage only card collectors. Correct. There's no one just grabbing graded Jim Lee 1991, 92 sets because there's no real value there, is there?
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
not like there would be on the sports side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like you got to be into the modern part of it, and then that's evolving daily, I think. With
Although I guess to be like, I have seen a lot of people coming in from the sports side who are familiar, like we've all talked about. They're familiar with the PMGs, the medallions. They're like, oh, I get that.
Yeah.
And then they kind of trickled in that way, and a lot of them have stayed. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. What? So going back though, what was I gonna say? Like, as you were going to these shops and things like that, what was it? Was it still X-Men that you were into, or like you had exposure to all this stuff?
No, like for the most part, like I'm in a lot of the Marvel groups, but Marvel is like just a piece of like, to me, of like the hobby. To me, the hobby is like all these other things. Like I dip over into the sports side as well.
Well, I see you post a lot of hockey on your story.
I know. I finally started a second account because I started posting hockey, and my follower account went like, "Ooh, really, guys?"
Why hockey? It's too hot to play hockey in California.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? We have all the teams.
I know. Kings, the Ducks, all that.
Yeah. So I forgot where were we? I'm like,
we were talking about what you were into
about losing followers over posting hockey.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about what else you were into.
Right. No, so Marvel, I'm trying to think like when, like I think 99 it kind of dropped off. I'm trying to think of for me, like when, I can't remember what the last big set back then for me was, but I was really into like Image and Top Cow, like those studios, and they were all pumping out all kinds of card sets. So I had like the Dark Child set from Randy Queen. I still love buying boxes of that when I find it.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
Dang.
How about the Crow? You have any Crow box sets?
I wish I had the Crow.
Okay.
I have a box of City of Angels somewhere, but not the black and white box, not the Brandon Lee. And I snoozed on that one. I should have grabbed that.
Is that is that a pricey one now?
Yeah.
That one's pricey, but the City of Angels one Ricky had on our podcast on last Friday with Mon. We did the Crow podcast, and if we got 100 likes or 100 comments, he was going to ship it out to somebody, a sealed box from City of Angels. It wasn't.
I think I have one as like a doorstop somewhere. I think that set comes with tattoos. I think there's like rub-on tattoos in that card set.
No, really. Well, if you're not, I might have to buy them off you then, because they're all the rage. Something Crow related, as you can see the Crow related up there.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
So, I think there were really nice inserts in that first set too. I think there was James O'Barr, like his not like original art, but like there were covers. I think in that. I think they were chromium.
Oh, that'd have been nice. I never remember seeing them. We talked about on that show that I didn't even know it was a comic at the time. So even the cards wouldn't have. That had to be 94. I would have seen them, but information wasn't always easily uncovered back then as now. So and I was near Pittsburgh, so there would have been some type of hoopla with that, but maybe being suburb was kind of kept that from my area. I don't know. But, I never saw them.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Amanda.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's like a $300 box.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, since you worked in the shops for all that time, we've told this story before, but and JP, I can't remember if you did the same thing, but growing up, especially like with card shops and sport, like those are very common in towns. Like even just my small town I grew up in had 3 card shops and then had 2 comic stores. But my parents, like, they'd go run errands and they would just drop us off at the card
Oh,
store.
yeah.
And the
And
owners
it's like,
love that.
yeah, I know. It's like I had no money. All I could do was look, but they would like literally leave us there for like, and I would
Yeah.
love it. Like 2 hours, just like looking. How much is that? What card is that there? And just like, I can only imagine now as an adult when I think about that, like what the people that work there, like, damn it, this kid's back.
You're just prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was working at the first shop. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pogs, but
Yeah,
Pogs
I mean, I know of them.
they were huge. They were huge at that time. So it was just constantly kids coming in. I've got like 3 quarters. How many can I get with like, okay.
It's like seeing the kids now come in buying the Pokemon sets, the card sets. Never got into those, but I see them when I'm at a comic shop. They're coming and buying that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that hasn't seemed to slow down at all.
No.
Yeah. So then continue on with this with the story.
Oh, okay. So I was still buying, I guess I could call them the small press sets. I'm trying to think of like, let me see. I've started to kind of dip back into them lately. So I've got Witchblade. You guys, I'm sure you guys know Witchblade. So I've got Witchblade box, Image Universe, Topps Image Universe set, which is really nice. If you guys haven't seen that, it's all chromium. I've got Nightmare on Elm Street stickers from Comic Images.
Anything Tomb Raider?
I do not have Tomb Raider, but there was a set. Bernie Wrightson, some Olivia, Star Wars Galaxy. So I was buying.
I have those Star Wars ones. I did have that set. That was all like chromium and real glossy, right? Chromium.
So there's Star Wars Galaxy has, I think, 8 or 9 sets now. So depending on the year, they used to be affordable.
Huh, I just sold a box of them I found on eBay, but I don't know what year it was, but there was one of the cards in there was the first appearance of Boba Fett in the cartoon that they had, that Christmas special.
The Christmas special.
Is that what I think that's what it was. But it had this weird looking Boba Fett, and it was kind of before he actually was an Empire Strikes Back. So that's not his rookie card, but that, I would consider that a early appearance of him. So I don't know what year that was. I can't remember. So
yeah, so there was still like a ton of stuff to buy. So I was buying all of that kind of stuff. And like comic reading wise, I don't know if it's the same for guys, but I've noticed this with my female friends, that at a certain point, a lot of us switched to DC.
We had a guest on a couple weeks ago, and she said the same thing. She's a female, and she's like, but then I kind of got over it and switched over to DC.
Yeah, I don't know. That Vertigo line just really appealed, I think, to a lot of us. Sandman, Swamp Thing. I love Hellblazer, John Constantine. So they have a couple sets. So I was picking up those. And then eventually it hit 2007, and Upper Deck kicked out that Masterpiece set.
Mm-hmm. And that brought you back
to Marvel. Yeah. Oh God, I bought 2 cases of that. I'm still selling singles from that on Whatnot from those 2 cases.
Now, going into DC, but no interest in the DC from the 90s. They had one set, that silver bordered set.
Gray border,
oh yeah, I think I have the Cosmic Teams box with the Everyone's Chasing the Lobo card in that one.
Oh, JP loves Lobo.
So that has Lobo, it has Sandman, and it has Death. So
what year was that?
Let me see. So that's why I am looking at this one. But this is not the silver one.
I have the hologram Lobo hologram here.
Oh, that's cool. So it's this box. See, it's right on the front.
Oh yeah.
Oh, those are really nice. I think they did a good. Those 90 holograms.
But that's not why.
They're so good.
It's PSA 10.
So 2007, it's Masterpiece. You buy cases. You're back into Marvel. Would you say Marvel is what in all of your interests? What is like? How does the pie look?
So it's constantly fluctuating.
Mm.
So like right now I'm super into hockey. Like I got the Toronto Expos coming up, so I'll be going to that.
In Toronto.
It's such a great show.
Fly out to Toronto. That's a cross. Nice.
Yeah. No, it's like, so the last time I went, I bought, I think 4 boxes of Bernie Wrightson for like $30 a piece. It's because it's not a sports show. Like the non-sport stuff doesn't move, so you kind of just swoop through and scoop it all up at the end.
This is what I was kind of referring to earlier. Like when it comes to the like Marvel cards or comic cards, whatever you want to call them, they're at sports card shows. I'm like, to me, it would make more sense that you were at a Comic-Con where everyone's into this same area of interest versus like a card is a card. So we have sports cards and like, to me, it's like, if I'm a hockey guy, why would I want that? I don't know. That's just how I think.
I think it's because it's cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, like but how many shows you go to though? Like I have it's called Steel City Con in Pittsburgh, and it's becoming less comics. It's probably 10 or 15 dealers tops, but there's toy guys there. They sell chocolate, but they have toys. I don't see any card guys there, but there are toys. So why do toys and comics go together, but not cards, comics, and toys?
Yeah.
You can start this trend, Amanda. You can start setting up at Comic-Cons.
I finally set up at my first show a year ago. They had a show in Las Vegas, which there's
that comic. Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, there's no chance I'm not going to go to a show in Las Vegas. There's zero chance.
Well, was it successful?
You're not going to go.
It was. So I set up. It was a sports show. So I set up. I think there was one other table there that had some non-sport. Like I sold almost everything. So it was a really good show. And then I set up, I think a month later at the Toronto Expo, and I did well there. But more than anything, people just were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know they had cards for these." Like everyone just wanted to talk about their experiences with Marvel Comics. I used to read this. I remember having this. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto with that hall. I mean, did you drive there or fly there?
No, so there's like a group of us. I met like a ton of sports people on Clubhouse. I don't know if you guys use the Clubhouse app at all. Mm-hmm. So I ended up meeting like Corey from Show Your Slabs, Tim McHenry, who is now the sports card and memorabilia supply king for BCW. Like just in casual conversation, like I've met all these people and we kind of all team up at these shows. So I'm able to ship stuff to a friend who is going to drive to the show, so I don't have to fly with it because I don't even know how that would work, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's really cool. Like the community aspect of this is huge, and it makes it a lot more fun too.
Okay. That's interesting. You can get away with probably a couple boxes of cards on a plane because you can take your carry-on and your whatever personal item or not check bag, but your carry-on, but you couldn't bring all that stuff. So shipping it out
I was like, what? Like, I don't even know how, like, what do I do with this banner? Is it like an oversized item? Do I like what? And then even with like my cards, I checked them last time, and the whole time I was like, please still be in my luggage when I get there.
That would definitely make me nervous. How many shows are you setting up a year then, would you say?
So it's very sporadic. Like I set up at the Mint mostly because like my friends were all setting up, and Card Ladder was a sponsor, and I'm friendly with Christina with Card Ladder, so I wanted to be supportive. I set up at the Toronto Expo just because all those same people were going. It was like, hey, we're doing this thing. And somebody had to drop out, so I kind of took their spot at the table, which kind of works because one of the guys, Show Your Slabs on Instagram, he does all displays for graded and non-graded cards. So I was able to set up with him and just fill up his displays.
Oh, nice.
So it worked out pretty easy.
Yeah.
So.
And then can I ask, with the name Graded Gamer, do you only deal with graded cards?
At shows, yes. At shows, I only take graded.
Why is that?
Because I feel like I shouldn't say that. I was going to say most of what I have ungraded other people would have, but I have a lot that probably people wouldn't have. Because I've kept everything I opened in my days at the comic store. I just throw it I have like 25 4 rows just like sitting around that I'm slowly trying to get through and get graded or sell and whatnot. So I just feel like it shows like a lot of people have ungraded. So I just bring the graded.
Got it. And then what's the gamer part of the name?
The gamer part is, this is like my Kid Rock scenario. Like I started out grading mainly Magic the Gathering. And now I do like probably the least amount of Magic, but it's still, the gamer is still in there. So like, but at this point, it's like, what am I gonna do?
Look, question then, since we brought up Magic, I've seen people grade Magic cards, but then once they grade them, they're not playing with them, are they? Okay.
No.
These are just like valuable ones that they're like, okay, I got this one. I'm
Yeah.
never going to use it again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned Whatnot a couple times. Is that kind of your main avenue then?
No, I have a website.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I really like, I really enjoy Whatnot. Like I'm not very like I don't do a lot of podcasts. I don't really like to set up at shows. So Whatnot, I can talk cards with people. I don't have to be on camera, you know, like it's just my hands. I'm just showing things.
Like the display or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm able to show people who like have never seen this stuff. And I'm able to kind of help a little bit with like, it's tough because I can't direct people off platform on Whatnot, but I can tell them like, don't expect to pay more than this for that. You know.
Wait, so when you're on Whatnot, you're not necessarily just selling. You're like essentially.
No, sometimes I'm just sitting there talking, or I'll open a box of something. Like on Saturday, I think I'm gonna open some Blizzard. I don't know if you guys do Warcraft or Blizzard or anything like that at all.
I've seen these all of a sudden recently. I've seen these Blizzard cards. I was wondering what they were.
I played so much Warcraft back in the day and Diablo. So I'm gonna open some of those and see. I'm pretty excited.
I never really thought of Whatnot outside of like a transactional type of situation. So like, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I just sit there and I just make people listen. If they're gonna hang out, they're gonna hear what I feel like talking about.
Now then, since you've talked about how you've been into the various different things, are your like Whatnot shows like, this is going to be a Blizzard show, this is going to be a Magic show, this is going to be a Marvel card show
on the weekends? Yeah. Like,
okay.
so on my coming up ones, I have like Blizzard. I have, pray for me, I'm going to try an MCU show. Talk about low value.
I feel like some of the MCU cards are crazy. I feel like they're either super low or they're astronomical.
I feel the worst part is like, I feel like Eternals, Moon Knight, what's the other one? Eternals, Shang-Chi. I feel like they were such a jump from WandaVision. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen those base cards. They're a lot nicer. Like the design, I wish I had some. I have everything else but what I'm talking about. They're really nice. But ultimately, it just boils down to what can you do with a screen grab?
Yeah. Yeah, I also don't understand why they need to make a set for every show. Like, to me, it's like, is the demand really there for?
I think it has to be like contractual.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? Because it's like, I mean, like, I wasn't a fan of the Moon Knight show, to be perfectly honest. Like, so it's like, I don't remember many people being a huge fan of it. So it's like, are there a lot of people wanting the Moon Knight show cards? Like,
it's like everyone's just ripping for autos. It's like they should just make it almost like, just make it an e-pack set. Have the autos in there, make it expensive, make it like $25 a pack. You get an auto and maybe like 2 extra cards. I don't know. I don't know what you do with those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try that. I've got a bunch of boxes from that. I'm doing a horror stream, which I'm excited about. I've got Vampirella, Mark Spears, Monsters,
nice.
Freddy stuff. What else? Bernie Wrightson. So I'm trying to mix it up. Then I have like I'm going to try a cheesecake stream and see how that goes with some Olivia's and some pinup cards.
Wait, what's cheesecake?
Good girl stuff.
Yeah, like pinup cards, tasteful, nothing.
Oh, tasteful, of course.
And all art, no like real.
Dave Stevens stuff.
You collect the cards for the articles, of course.
I am trying to think if there is a set that Dave Stevens has.
I'm interested if you have them.
I know he has one card for sure in the Vampirella set.
One card, JP. You got to go chase it now.
I can picture it. It's a classic. Like he's really good though. Like he does a lot of Betty. I think
Betty Page.
Yeah, there's got to be a Betty Page something that he's done. There has to be. Is there a Rocketeer set? There's got to be a Rocketeer set.
There's a Rocketeer.
There's got to be a Rocketeer.
Someone saw it. Maybe did someone see it or did I see it at an antique store? I just didn't buy them because I didn't like the Rocketeer. I'm more into the cheesecake ones that he does. Okay. So Chevelle Noir, Alien Worlds, Johnny Quest, Airboy, he does Elvira. He did a couple of those. So that's usually what I go after.
If you don't have that Vampirella, I'll send you one because I know I've got them kicking around in a box here somewhere. There'll
Yeah, I
be a
don't get
red
it.
and a gold parallel.
Yeah, I'll follow you on Instagram. I'll shoot you a message if
Okay.
you have it. Just send me a pic of it, and then I gladly buy that because.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Those boxes are not. So that'll be a fun stream. So I'm just trying different stuff, and then I have streams incredibly early in the morning where I just make people listen to me. Like, I'm going to talk about Daredevil Series 1 and 2 Red Parallels today. Like, I just pick.
Now, are you someone that like you just give me something I can talk about it for an hour?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, on the one-off stream when you're talking, is there much interaction, I guess, in the comments, or are you just
Yeah,
straight
there
going?
is. And also one of the things too that I like about Whatnot is you can bring someone on to co-host with you.
Okay.
Yeah, but the chat they have a lot of questions about some of this stuff, like especially like when I'm doing the image sets, the Top Cow, the Witchblade, the people just haven't seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it. I mean, sometimes you go like I'll go to a antique show or a garage sale. Like they have a citywide or like a small citywide garage sale or whatever called yard sale, and I found a box of like Predator cards, Alien cards, just like offshoot Daffy Duck, Upper Deck baseball ones, and just like I don't know what the value is because they just made so many different ones. It's really hard to determine if they're I don't know if they're worth anything or if they're rare or what. It's just seems like
There's like the number of sets that came out in the 90s is insane.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
Oh yeah, there's stuff. I just find there's no real value except personal value to have that. You know what I mean? Like the Vampirella or Mon is a big Predator fan, so he wants those cars or aliens. Or I think I have Boris. I think is the name of the artist that did the not Dungeons and Dragons, but fantasy.
Boris has
Vallejo. He has like 5 sets outside of the Marvel stuff. He has like 5 sets of his own.
I remember getting them from my dad has I worked at this restaurant and the dishwasher that I worked with was huge into D&D and painted stuff. And he had all these cards, the Boris Vallejo cards, and gave them all to me. And they were kind of racy.
Yeah. All the like his barbarian women and
yeah. I was like, should I have these? He's like, don't tell your dad. Not that my dad would have been mad, but don't tell your mom, I guess.
Don't tell your mom, I guess.
Yeah.
Mom didn't let me get that. So.
Amanda, though, when it comes into your like store and your, when you are selling, are you then selling mostly 90s stuff or do you sell the new stuff or where are you at in that?
I do sell the new stuff. God, right now I'm still pretty wiped out. I'm trying to think of what I even have listed right now, graded. And then I also have the problem where I keep too much stuff.
Like for yourself.
Yeah. Like I tell myself like, okay, I'm going to buy this box and I'm going to grade it and sell it. And like I did that recently with Series 2 hockey. Okay, I have this case. I'm going to sell this. Bedard's the hot rookie, no problem. Well, now I'm considering how cool would it be to have like a whole graded set of, and it's like, I don't need that. So I'm trying. I have everything torn up right now because I'm trying to find a couple cards for Pankit. I don't know if you guys know Pankit.
Yeah. I know. I speak with him quite regularly. Yeah,
he's amazing, and I'm trying to find 2 cards for him that I know I have. And
wait, is he a hockey guy?
No. He has this. He and I are both in love with the same set, the 2016 75th anniversary of Captain America.
Oh, okay, yeah. He and I we talk about the Captain America stuff. Okay.
It was an e-pack only set, and it's gorgeous. Every single card is gorgeous. They're serial numbered out of either like 175, 75, or 10. So at one point, Pankit took a sabbatical and was gone for a while. So I swooped in and grabbed a bunch of the out of 10s while I could. He's back and he's like, oh, I need this one, this one, this one. So of course, like it's Pankit. Like,
yeah,
I'm going to get them over there.
Yeah.
But I'm realizing as I'm tearing up all this stuff looking for them that I have got to move. I have got to start selling stuff that I bought to sell.
Wait, so is selling cards your full-time job?
No.
Okay, so then the issue of like I keep too many isn't as big of a deal, I guess.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, but I keep too much stuff. I think everybody probably feels that way.
I mean, I think that's why I could never get into like a dealing situation. It's just like I'd be like, like people talk like, oh, I got in this collection. It's like, you talk to people when they get a comic collection. It's like you get a long box, but really the value is in like a handful of that 250, right? Those are the ones I would want to keep, and I'm like, I can make it back with these other like it just would not work. But on that note, speaking of what you keep, I know that you are a Bullseye collector. So that Bullseye is a character I've never heard of anyone else collect. What was the draw? How did that come about?
There is one other Bullseye collector.
Oh, is there? Okay.
And we are friends.
Are you friends?
No, we are actual friends. He's very nice. We chat on Instagram. So what was the question about Bullseye? You're not going to ask
just
me
how did you come about
why?
how and why exactly all that?
I'm not even sure if I know how. Or I'm trying to think of when. So there's this thing now that's popped up the last couple of years about being a character collector. Like I never really heard that too much before then.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really coincided with COVID and the price boom and people not being able to set collect, like it just being too expensive, specifically with the masterpiece sets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think if maybe I started at 2018 masterpieces. I feel like I started before then. I don't know, but like Marvel never lets anyone kill anybody and they rarely stay dead. So when Bullseye killed Elektra, I was like, oh my God, this is this guy. And then like recently, I don't know if Heimdall is still dead, but he also killed Heimdall.
Bullseye did.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Also, I mean, this is a morbid fascination, I must say, Amanda. Like,
well, they never let any, like, is Sabretooth even a bad guy anymore? Like, they never let anyone.
Yeah, I mean,
villains.
Both JP and I really don't know much about modern comic storylines, and so like I don't no idea. Like I do know that like changed the Punisher, for example, but like I know barely anything about modern stuff. So yeah, no, I can. Yeah.
Very true. They don't. Everyone turns good, just like in the movies. They eventually turn good, except for Thanos. He never became good, but everyone else has like some storyline. Well, Thanos and who was the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Oh, High Evolutionary.
High Evolutionary. He stayed bad the whole time, but
I still haven't seen that.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: he doesn't die. He dies.
I'm bad with the MCU stuff. I'm really bad.
Well, you're gonna have to catch up if you're gonna do your MCU shows.
I know.
But if you know the comic, though, that's probably where more of the draw is than the movies, right?
Yeah. But then I just explained that I'm more street level heroes. So I watch like the Netflix stuff. So that's why I'm allowed to be out of sync with the MCU.
But that's all now in the MCU now. They just showed the new photos with Daredevil and Punisher on set.
I've seen the Bullseye on set too. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
They bring back the Penguin guy, the guy who's playing the Penguin. Is he going to be the Bullseye?
No.
That was the movie. The
was the Bullseye in the Daredevil, Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
Oh my God, you guys! I have the worst. It's like, do you know those things at the movie theaters where it's like the really tall vinyl, like hanging, like it'll be a full character's body. It's like huge.
You got a Colin Farrell one?
I did. Someone was selling it for $20. Like, what am I gonna do?
Wow. I bought that for $20.
Yeah. No, JP, but it's the I don't know the actor's name who played Bullseye in the Netflix series, but it's that guy's back on set.
Yeah,
I did hear that. I just forgot. I figured Jennifer Garner's going to make her name in the new Daredevil series too, right?
Oh no, she's going to be in the Deadpool movie.
I feel like you're being trolled. One of my friends, he does. Oh, he actually. You guys have probably seen him on podcast. Billy Celio. He is I always get it wrong. Product design manager for Upper Deck, but on the side, he is like a psychotic autograph collector. So he goes and waits outside like Jimmy Kimmel and all these places to get autographs. And so he was going to go see Colin Farrell somewhere. And he was like, oh, you've got that thing, send it to me. And I'm like,
this big.
I'm going to send that to you.
You should do it just to get that story. That'd be hilarious.
Just so he would have to like try to get it in and out of his car.
Jeez.
Plus, like this Colin Farrell, do you sign that thing like normal size, or do you have to like go ham on that
It'd
thing?
be like a little tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, good luck with that.
Well, what would you get Colin Farrell to sign? Would you get him to sign the card or maybe a comic? Would you have him sign the first appearance of Bullseye or the
I
death
would
of
not.
Elektra?
I
Maybe.
would not have him sign that. I wouldn't have him sign anything serious, to be honest.
Yeah. Wait,
Only-
I'm curious. Do you like the Colin Farrell Bullseye better than the Netflix show actor?
No,
Okay.
no. I was very pleased with the Netflix rendition of Bullseye.
Yeah, the Netflix. He doesn't fuck around. Like I
No.
just rewatched that recently and I'm being like, damn.
Yeah, I don't like. Sometimes Bullseye ends up getting like the Joker treatment, where he's like, "Oh, he's so crazy," but like he's an assassin. You can hire him. He's not. He doesn't have to be.
And
I mean, there might be a personality disorder there, but he doesn't have to be like drooling.
Yeah, and I also, growing up, I knew of Bullseye, but I did not know he had the adamantium reinforced skeleton like Wolverine.
Yeah.
When did that come about? Was that from the beginning?
I don't know when I don't remember. I don't know the exact story.
It was pretty early on. He developed a tumor because he smoked very heavily. Like in the comics back then, you could also smoke. So he was like, there's all kinds of panels where he's smoking, which I guess is the sign of a villain.
I mean, Wolverine smoked a lot. I mean, I guess there were cigars.
And then I think Gambit smoked too when he first came on.
Yeah, Gambit always had a cigarette. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think so. They took out the tumor, and then he thought he was Daredevil, or was that before? I don't know. But he ended up falling. Daredevil broke his back, something, and then he got the adamantium upgrade.
Oh wow!
Wasn't it like paid for by I don't know Kingpin or I don't know something I don't remember.
It was God, I could picture the cover.
But I thought the whole reason why Wolverine got the adamantium was because his healing factor allowed it to happen.
Yes, it allowed him to survive the surgery. I don't know. I don't know Bullseye very well, but I thought it was like a new procedure that they were able to do.
I'm sure they had perfected it since then.
Yeah, and so like it didn't require that like healing. I mean, this is the comics. They can make this. Like, how are we gonna make this work? All right, I got it. Yeah, come on, JP.
Just saying, I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like I am always going to PC Bullseye, but I feel like at the same time I'm shifting back into focusing on sets again.
Oh, so like what sets have you have your eyes open on?
Just like since the release, like I've always like the stuff that's easy, like annual, like I never stopped putting sets together for that. But I really, unlike a lot of people, I really like the recent beginnings. So I'm going to put that together with most of the parallels, I think.
That was going to be my question. So when you say you're going to put together a set, is that just like of the base or of a specific parallel? Or are you going all?
I will 100% do the base, and I'll usually pick like one or two parallel sets. But if I can, I wouldn't mind doing all. Yeah. I'm one of those weirdos that loves, you can give me all the parallels. I'm fine with that.
Now, is it because like that gives you something to chase for a long time? Like you're going to be occupied for a bit.
I like the chase, but I also like being able to choose. I had so from 2017, like these are just two. I don't know if you can see them. They're not going to show up, but there's like a gold and a purple.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't really crazy about the blue. So it's like I can pick like, I just want of course these two are the more expensive, but
so JP, just so you're aware, and this is I think becoming more and more common. So Upper Deck just released this new set called he bounced out of here. I don't know what happened to him. Well, I was going to say,
you didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, on the Marvel Platinum side, when we're seeing 40 plus parallels, how are you feeling about that then when you think about getting back into set collecting?
So up until recently, I would have been very excited. I would have said I'm all in. But I recently bought a case of Upper Deck Allure Hockey.
Uh-huh.
And this relates because I was so excited. I'm like, I got a whole case. I'm going to be able to finish the sets. I'm going to have extras. I'm going to have all these parallels. I barely finished a base set. And it was because there were so many parallels in the set. They took the, they filled up space. Like I barely finished a base set.
So JP, now you're there.
Something blew up. I don't know what happened.
He's like, they're done talking parallels.
Yeah.
Bullseye came in and got me.
Well, JP, I was just saying real quick, what we're talking about, I was like, so Upper Deck just released a set called Marvel Platinum, and of like one character, there are 41 or 40 plus different versions of this card. Like it's crazy. So Amanda's gonna get them all though.
No, but I don't know if you like Keith, who I usually go live with, Keith Boyle.
Yeah, I've talked with him a few times.
He is
like he's a master big set collector, right?
A master set collector. So I will always feel slightly less nerdy by proximity to him because he has to have every parallel that's below, as long as it's.
Isn't it 25? He doesn't go below 25.
He doesn't go below 50.
Oh, okay.
But I did get a text today that there was something in anime he went after that was out of 25. So I don't know if that changes things or not.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So I like parallels, but I also understand the frustration people feel when there's that many.
It's like with the platinum, for example, like masterpieces, right? Like I got there's the base, then there's the purple, and there's the orange and the green or whatever. Like I can handle it. But like on this new platinum set, when I'm seeing people like post stuff, I'm like, I have no idea. It's like this is the blue surge cosmic, and I'm like, what? Like orange checkers. It's like, this is too many for me.
Yeah, I know. People are messaging me like, hey, I pulled this bullseye. Do you need it? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which one is that? I don't know.
Yeah. It's just, it's too much.
Why do they come up with 41? Why?
I mean, I know that. I don't know if it's like set. Everyone's got, I don't know. I just think they just have many ideas they came up with and they were just like, kept.
And they all look great. They all look, the rainbow, the black rainbow, the cosmic, they're beautiful cards. And I think they'll be affordable. But
I mean, there's some selling right now. The lower serial number ones are going for crazy prices right now.
It's so wild. Yeah.
And I showed you the other day, I sent you that 1-of-1 bullseye.
Yeah.
And, bullseye is not on the tier of Spider-Man, but like, for example, I don't know if you know Ryan Beckner. He's a Juggernaut collector.
Oh, okay.
We had him on recently, but he got I can't remember if it's the 1-of-1 auto or the 1-of-1 golden treasure. And it was $2,800 for Juggernaut.
Oh,
like it's crazy.
I am very relieved that I don't feel the need.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't keep me up at night if I don't grab the 1-of-1s. Like I'm okay.
So you're not the fully, I guess, completionist would be the term we're talking about?
I am not a complete, nope. Because there are some bullseye cards where I don't like the art, and it's like, oh, I'm so bummed you guys picked that art for him. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, like I've seen there's two different arts for like, and even for obviously like Silver Surfer the Thing, and there's two different sets of art, and like both the Surfer and the Thing, there's one of them, it's awful. It's like so hideous, and I'm like, I would have no, I don't care what it is. So
yeah,
Jack Kirby art.
No, it's not Jack Kirby, JP. JP hates Jack Kirby. I love Jack
Kirby.
Do
you really?
I don't hate him. I guess I would say I have a dislike for his art because I had a book in the 90s that would teach you how to draw Marvel characters. And they had John Buscema, Romita, and Kirby. And I always hated the way Kirby drew people's faces.
Oh,
they looked the same to me. So I always didn't pay attention to how he was drawing it. And I watched Buscema, or at least followed what he was doing on those pages. So.
All right,
I can appreciate his the King Kirby, but I would
like his square fingers coming out at you.
They always had a weird look to them. You
need
women were okay,
but you need a background for him that's like that Kirby crackle, the black circles.
Yeah,
you gotta figure out how to make that his background.
Wait, so Amanda, are you a Kirby fan or not?
I do like Kirby.
Yeah. See, the one thing I think too, especially kind of what you're talking about, JP, like the faces, like when you think about it, like if you think about the amount of volume that Kirby had to draw compared to everybody else, like I can kind of understand, like he had to just like pump these things out. So do a lot of people look the same? Sure. I still love it.
I'll say this. Okay, so this is Punisher Daredevil. Do you guys know who drew this cover?
I don't know who drew that one off the top of my head. Is that John Romita Jr.?
No, you would think John Romita Jr. would draw that. Do you see
the
detail?
Know. Yeah.
To me, I would think off the top it was Jim Lee, but it's Will Portacio who drew that, right?
Yeah, I mean he draws similar, yeah.
Correct. But when you see Kirby, you know it's Kirby, right?
Yes.
It's very definitive. When you see Wilts, when you see Jim Lee, they're very close. Maybe it's the inker, but that's where Jim Lee or Kirby had his, why he gets recognition. Not that he was a great artist, he was for his time, but there's people like Schomburg and Matt Baker who you could tell their art too from the golden age, but Kirby was very definitive in how he drew things. So it was very easy to pick out.
I think that depended on character too, though. Like I could spot a Todd McFarlane Spider-Man.
You can McFarlane and you can
Wolverine.
You can do that with Wolverine. You can do Jim Lee with Wolverine, but Jim Lee and Wilts look very similar. Rob Liefeld has his own way of doing things, right? So there's few artists that
have. She said that's kind of you to compliment Rob Liefeld.
He was one of my favorites. But his best artwork was X Factor, X Force 1. After that, he went downhill from there. So
there's a card set of that for you too. That's all him.
I have those ones somewhere lying around there, but I don't know. I just never I never liked Kirby. There's people that just had. Again, I'm not going to say he wasn't a great and inspirational. I will never take that away from him. I just would prefer not to have the book, but there's so many keys he drew, you can't get away from that. So,
but also think too, like like we talked about the other day with like any kind of thing, right? Like with guitarists, right? Like you have Jimi Hendrix, but would Jimi Hendrix be where he was if not for what's his name, Robert Johnson? Right, he was like the father of the blues, but it's like very kind of basic when you compare him to Jimi Hendrix. So it's like, does Jim Lee and the people that came after Kirby happen if Kirby wasn't there to kind of, it's the evolution of the art.
Right. Elvis didn't have his stuff came from blues and soul music from back in the 50s or 40s. So yeah, I mean it's some progression to get to where you are. Like you can't ever erase your past because you are who you are because of the past. Right. And those artists are who they are because of Kirby and Bushima and Ramita. So whether you like them or not, they did inspire the next generation. So,
yeah.
So, but sorry, I didn't mean to take away from bring us all down with that talk.
No, that's why this stuff is great because everyone has it's art. Like everyone's going to have a different opinion.
Yeah.
And then Amanda, a lot of it.
I'd say you should just do it. You should do a couple Jack Kirby episodes. We'll make JP be on with you.
And I was just going to say a lot of it too is tied to nostalgia. Like, from you having that how to draw, like that's where you were like, no, this isn't for me.
Yeah. I just knew I didn't like it. I don't know. I'd never had any want for Fantastic Four comics because he drew most of them. Like, I just don't like the way he does it, back then. But, again, we grew up in the era of the masterpiece cards. I can see to your left, or is it your right? I mean,
on both.
Just go. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to. That was painted. That no one really did painting besides.
Well, all the masterpieces are painted. That's like their
right. But I mean, that was his way of drawing. But he did not. His artwork was that. Whereas who else did painted? Who did the Dazzler covers in the 80s? Sienkiewicz. Yep, that was about it. That's the two you had. So
God, he's so good. I'm so excited. I have so much junk here that I just found. Do you guys do original art at all?
We try. We can't afford it all.
I mean, yeah, I wish
I found a page that I bought like so long ago, and I forgot I had it. Yeah, well, yeah. And I have it right here because I just found it today. I don't know if you guys read Daredevil End of Days.
I haven't read that specific one. No.
Okay, it's gonna. Well, spoiler alert: Bullseye kills him. And I managed to get the page. So, and then he kills him and then kills himself.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if you can. Well, I have the worst time with. So it's signed by Sienkiewicz and Jansen.
Yeah. What year is that from?
This is from, God, what year did this come out? Oh, I can't believe I can't remember. It's been out for a while. I never thought I would get a page from. This is the Daredevil PMG that you always see with him throwing the cards.
Yeah.
Is from this series. So I never thought I would ever get a page, and I completely forgot that I grabbed that. So now it feels new again.
That's an awesome find. That's like, when you find a $20 bill, except this time you found like a 10 hundreds.
I know, I'm so excited. I was like, whoa, gotta get that framed.
Yeah. Are you
Nice.
into other original art, or is that the only one?
My original art, is so far all Bullseye related.
But you do dabble in original art then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is definitely hopefully one day where I could get to there. I would like to, for sure.
There's like so many great like resources online.
Yeah.
And a lot
Yeah.
of these guys will do payments too.
Yeah. No, yes, for sure. The thing is like knowing me, it's like I'd want like, oh, I want a page by Jack Kirby, and it's just like
Right.
that's $50,000.
Yeah. I know I watched the heritage auctions like just for fun, just to see like
Yeah.
what they have, and it's like, oh god, this stuff's amazing. I could never afford it ever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching the Heritage auction right now for that Action Comics 1 8.5. It just crossed 5 million, so it's going to be the new
Oh,
record. Like,
wow.
that hasn't even hit like the live bidding yet.
When's the live bidding start? This weekend?
I don't know when the final. I don't think that one ends in. Well, no, I was gonna say until April. It is April now, so sometime coming up.
I didn't even know you could watch that. A friend of mine works there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you can watch that online." And I was like,
Did you
"Oh my
know?
god!"
I mean, do you go to the Dallas card show by any chance?
I still have not been.
Well, I was gonna say if you ever do that, you could go to Heritage because I think it's in Dallas, and you can look at all the stuff that they're gonna sell in their next upcoming auction.
Yeah, my friend works
Like-
there, and he's like, "Oh, I can give you a tour." And
Like
I'm
that would
like,
be so awesome.
"Oh my god!" I got a tour of Upper Deck recently, but I think I'd rather see what Heritage has.
Yeah, I think it would be rad.
They're always like, "Oh look, we have got a gremlin for sale," like a real. He told me they had stormtrooper armor, and I was like, "Come on, can I try it on?" Like like not even for content. We don't have to tell anyone. Can I please try it on? And he's like,
Yeah.
"No."
We had do you remember this, JP? We had Vince, he's the founder and president of Comic Connect, one of the other big auction houses. And he was telling us a story about how they had the Captain America costume from the movie that they sold. And he's like, yeah, I put it on.
I was gonna say, how do you not?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you not remember that, JP?
I do, but I'm saying like I could picture it like who's taking the picture of you to put it, in like you put on Instagram, but you hide it in one of your roles, so you can show somebody, but only certain people can see that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I would
awesome.
definitely take some pictures of it, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, no, I know I got to get running here soon. I don't know if you guys want to keep rolling with it, but I do have to run. But I don't know if I clear out, if that screws everything up or not. So
No, you're good. You're good.
Don't
We
forget
can
to
start
message me so I can get you the Vampirella.
definitely,
yeah.
I really appreciate that. But Amanda, thanks for coming on today. I'll say peace out to everybody, but I will find you on Instagram, and you guys enjoy the rest of the conversation.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Later,
See you.
JP.
See ya.
Amanda, we could definitely start to wind up, but I wanted to ask though, with the original start in comics, do you have any interest in comics now at all still?
I do still. I have a short box somewhere. I'm not even sure. It's going to be mostly DC.
Are you actively collecting them now, or you've saved those?
No, I get tempted. The warehouse show that I go for cards, they do have a couple comic dealers, and I'll like kind of cruise. But so far, I'm kind of sticking with the Marvel Unlimited app.
Okay. Oh yeah. To read.
Yeah, just trying to keep up that way. Because initially, I was really anti, like that's not reading comics. You got to turn the page, but like I only have so much space, and
no, I also too. It's just like I feel like it's very especially if you have like I don't know, how many are you reading for example? Like how many are you reading currently? Would you say?
Well, on Unlimited, I'm reading a ton.
Yeah.
Just because they're it's free. I can read whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, like we've talked to people that like have poll lists of like 30 titles, and it's like
even at my most readingest, I maybe would have had like 10.
But my point being is like to have all those comics, if you're say 10, just piling up and you having to like go grab
Oh
like
my
it just
God.
like it's almost like it's too much. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there's like a short box turns into a long box, and then you've got 4 long boxes, and then you've made yourself a desk out of the long boxes as table legs, and it's just like it goes so fast.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I mean that is the benefit of the card side is like small packages.
Yeah, and then the like comics people, I'm sure you guys think of it, but like there's actual upkeep involved. Like the Mylar, you got to replace that stuff every so even with cards. Really, these penny sleeves do break down after a while, but not anything like comics. Like it's not gonna. Although I guess we do have bricking. We do have the bricking. I have opened some cards that are like they're like clear chrome cards, and it seems like maybe they weren't made like with real like a good quality. I don't know what, but they're like sticky out of the pack. So I'm curious if they're like coming apart.
Yeah.
More that 90s quality.
Yeah. Yeah. So going real quick back to what is, kind of moving forward, you're going to collect Bullseye. What else is on that list?
So I'll keep up with Bulls. Well, so I kind of have 3. I have like my 3 guys. Well, okay,
who are your
maybe
3?
maybe I have 4. So I jokingly don't collect Loki, but I have a lot of Loki.
Is that spurred just because he's killed it in the movies? Is that where they love Sir, or have you always liked Loki?
No, I've always really liked Loki.
Okay.
And I also really I hate it because it makes it look like I have a type, but I also really like Crossbones and I like Taskmaster.
Oh, so you like that? Yeah, I'm surprised you don't collect Punisher then.
I do not collect Punisher. So I was trying to I missed out on I got the Unbound art for Bullseye, but I missed the Crossbones and the Taskmaster, so I'm bummed for that.
Oh, you have the original art for it.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
But I missed those too. But yeah, so I don't prioritize those in any way. Those are more like if someone's like, "Oh, hey, I found this sketch. Do you?" It's like, it's a $20 sketch. That's fine.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from sketches entirely. Like they're not really for me.
Yeah, they're not for me either.
No, I mean I appreciate them, but I just like, oh, that just seems like a money pit if I'm gonna get started on that. So and then I'll keep working on the sets going forward. I have a bad habit, hence Graded Gamer, of once I finish a set, I decide I also need this set graded. So will keep chipping away at some of these sets and hopefully get them completed.
Are you sending off like massive, like, wait, first off, who do you grade with? Like, who's your choice?
I grade exclusively with PSA.
Okay. And that's of everything. Sports, Marvel, random, all PSA.
Yeah, all PSA.
Are you sending, like, how big are the shipments you're sending to PSA, and how often are you sending them to PSA?
So they are not very big because they are weekly. I'm trying to do them weekly. Sometimes I do it like twice a month, but I'm trying to just send off just like, between like 15 or 20 cards at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And then I do sometimes submit for other people, but it has to be someone like I actually know.
So when you collect that set though, and you're like, oh, I want it graded now, does it have to be like PSA 10s?
It does not.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll send in stuff that I think looks like a 10.
Yeah.
But I will sell the 10s and keep the 9s. So I'll send in multiple of the same card if I think they both look really good. So like the 10s can like hopefully fund the rest of the set.
Yeah. Can I ask real quick, why exclusively PSA for you?
Well, number one is the resale value is the highest with PSA. Although that was not the case when I started with PSA, but and it's subjective. I like their holders. I like their holders. I have a really good grasp of their grading standards most of the time, PSA. And I'm going to say stuff I've never had a problem with, any with any
Next
orders.
shipment.
Yeah, right. I have a really expensive one. That's way back. It's probably going to end up like in Illinois now that I said that.
And I mean that I've seen that new app they have where you just like scan and it like uploads all the info to like send in submissions.
I saw that and I was like, oh my God, these kids today, they can't even.
You're still filling out the paperwork and faxing it in?
They don't even want to use carbon paper, whatever. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually review a set. I posted on Instagram. Someone is trusting me with a set of the beginning holograms.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna review
for the
those.
thing one of that.
Oh, is he in that set?
He's in, he's in. I don't know if it's series 1, 2, or 3. I can't remember, but there is definitely.
I'm trying like not to even touch them until I like formally review them because I'm like, oh, these are not mine. I feel like a lot of anxiety when I'm handling somebody else's cards.
Yeah.
So at the Toronto show, I'm hoping I can get someone from Upper Deck to sit with me at their booth and like kind of like just go over the holos and talk about them a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see if I can make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, that'd be a good Whatnot show too.
Yeah, and then because I think I should be able to drop them off with PSA there at the show, so that would save me like one less trip in the mail for those guys.
Yeah, I'm not a big grader myself, but like if I was to, I mean, comics or cards, like I would try to like for comics, like Emerald City Comic Con, CGC is usually at, like I would just go there and then drop off because I hate the whole like shipping it there, and it's just a whole thing.
I live really close to PSA, so it's
I was gonna say I think that's what I say. I thought they were in California.
And I think I could drop off. I don't know exactly how that works, but if I'm gonna do this review in Toronto, there's no I'm like, and I can drop them off. I just have to do it because that's too stressful.
Yeah. Right on, Amanda. This has been a ton of fun having you on. Before we go, why don't you tell people your website, your Instagram, where are they going to find you, whatnot, all that stuff, and then we can wrap it up here.
All right, I'm pretty easy to find. I am Graded Gamer on Instagram, and you can pretty much find me everywhere else from there. I do have a website, thegradedgamer.com. I think on Whatnot, I am The Graded Gamer. If you have any questions, just zap me on Instagram, and I can let you know where I am at on a different social.
Right on.
I am just about everywhere.
And how often do you do the Whatnot shows?
They're intermittent.
Okay.
They're in a perfect world, the morning streams are twice a week, and then I do something on Saturdays.
Got it. Right on. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. And everyone give Amanda a follow. Check out her shows. Otherwise, we will see you on the next one. I'm trying to find her. There it is. All right, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see you on the next one.